Hello and welcome to another episode of Ken Training, where we want to train you how to tackle projects like this one on your own. Today's training is going to be on rebuilding the oxygen regulator of this Victor oxyacetylene setup. So you see I got a Victor cut skill oxyacetylene tank right here. On the oxygen tank, this tank right here, what's happening is that there's a some type of a diaphragm or something that blown out, and when it blew out, and I can't use the oxyacetylene setup, so I needed to rebuild it. So I purchased this kit right here, and it was like $47. I'll try to give you links of everything in below, and I'm also going to give you the model number of this oxyacetylene kit. Hopefully that should be displaying itself within the video right now during my editing process. So I've already kind of taken this thing apart in order to make sure that I could get to the parts that need to be rebuilt. But so I'll show you how to take it apart right now, and then we'll go ahead and put the rebuild kit in, and then we're going to try to light this puppy off because we want this thing to work so we can use it for our cutting and welding and brazing and all of that good stuff. So let's get to it right now. So with that, I'm going to try to give you the best video content possible in the shortest time frame possible, and I only ask for you to do one thing for me, and that is to smash that like button down for me right now. And with that, let's go on with the show. Okay, I pretty much have everything loose, so here I'm just going to take the hose off. I've already loosened the hose previously, so it's just on there with a few threads with my hand. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove the regulator from the tank right here. Again, just on with a few threads. Okay, now I did remove this earlier because I had to put this in the vise. I got a nice 5-inch vise right over here, and I did have to put it in the vise because this portion was on here so tight, so I had to put it in the vise, and I had to use my pipe wrench here in order to break it free. But I won't have to do that now because, again, everything is just hand tight. But I did have to remove this fitting earlier, so I'll just put that aside for now. And then this handle here, I'm going to go ahead and unscrew this, show you guys this whole process here, how I go about doing this. So I'm going to unscrew the handle, take it right off. I'm just going to set that aside, and I want to show you how I'm doing this. So I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to make a stacking order of how the parts come out. And then I'm going to unscrew this. This is the one where I needed to use the pipe wrench around here in order to get enough leverage on it, because this thing was really on there. So I'm just going to pull that off, and now you want to notice how this is all coming apart. So there's nothing inside here, just a cap. I'm going to put that cap in the same stacking order that I'm taking it apart, like this. So then I'm going to take the spring out there, put that down. I'm going to take out this portion here. You see there's a rubber diaphragm attached here. I'm just going to take that, put that down, and just to show you, I'm stacking everything up as I removed it in the same order that it's being removed from here. Now that you're looking at this thing, I want to remove this, and I have a wrench here with a socket, 9/16 inch socket. So go to lefty loosey righty tighty, and we'll go ahead and loosen that up. Now I did put it in the vise earlier when I wanted to loosen it, but now it's just basically hand tight, so it's not going to be a big deal. Go ahead and pull that off, and again, as I pull this off, okay, see here, take that out, Then there's this here with the needle. See that needle right there? That needle was facing up. So I'm going to put that right there. There's a clip here, and I might need to get some needle nose pliers. Hang on. Okay, so now I'm going to reach in here, grab those needle nose pliers, take out this retaining clip here, put that down right there. There's another item in here, looks like a spring, and indeed that is a spring. I'm going to take that, put that down here. Now there's one more item in here, and it looks like it's a filter. So I'm just going to put my hand over that, turn it upside down. There it is right there. It's just like a filter screen, and I'm going to put that right there. So now the regulator is 100% empty from everything that we took out. So I'm just going to set that down right there. Now let's open up our rebuild kit right here. And being careful not to lose anything and not to get any of the parts mixed up, I'm just going to put the rebuild kit down here on the black workbench. Hopefully you can see that. And let me get the rest of these parts. Now, here are the rest of the parts. And I'm just going to put them right here. There's an O-ring here. Hold on. Now there was an additional part that I didn't see when I pulled that out, so I'm going to have to look for that. There's that retaining clip. Here's that filter screen that goes there. And there's an O-ring here, and I don't know where that O-ring goes, so I'm going to have to figure that out. Okay, I believe there's an extra gasket in here that I missed. I'm going to use this small flat-bladed screwdriver. No, wait a minute. Oh, there is. See that? I just pulled out this small gasket. I'm just going to set that aside here. So the new kit came with the new gasket, so now I know that that gasket goes exactly around this rim right here. I'm just going to blow this out. Okay, so this here is all blown out here. Just going to set that aside. Now I want to put this in the same order that I took things out in. So the first thing I want to put here on the bottom is going to be this filter. So I'm going to just drop that in there, and there we go. That's landed just fine. Now what I can do, I wonder if I should put, actually before I put that filter in, I think I'll put that other gasket on first, because it looks like this filter is blocking a portion of that seated surface. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, hold on, oh there we go. Okay, I'm going to take that brand new filter, put that down for a second. I'm going to take this brand new gasket here, and I'm going to put that in and make sure that it's seated as well as I can get that seated. And that is seated the way it should be seated. Now that that is seated, I'm going to put in the brand new filter right there. So I'm just going to drop that, and I'm going to maneuver it with my small flat-bladed screwdriver so that's firm there. Now the next item that goes in is this small spring. So I'm going to put that small spring on there. And let's see here, the next item that goes in, I have to put this down. I'm going to put this down flat. I'll put it down like this. There. Now the next item that goes in is going to be this item here. This very small, I'm not even sure what they call this particular part, but I believe this is the part that went bad on the other, on the old kit. Now this has to fit. Let's see if that will fit exactly where that spring is. Oh yes, it does. If you see that, this fits exactly right in the middle of that spring. Okay. Oh, you know what? I just remembered there's one more thing. This here, this must go on first. So there's this part here. So before I do that, I'm going to take this, I'm going to put that on here. Hang on, it's kind of fighting me. Okay, you see that? I'm going to walk that in. I'm going to try to seat that 100% up. Is these black tabs are coming over the seated surface that mate with that gasket I put down earlier, the gasket that looks like this one right here. And so I believe the way that I'm supposed to do this is that I actually need to slightly lift up on this, and I need to take and depress in these tabs so that way they go inside of this section of the regulator, and I gotta do that on all four sides, which is a little bit of a trick. Okay, you'll see how I have all the tabs now inside there. There's a little needle pushing up right here, and hopefully you can see that with the background. Okay, so now that we've got all that, I'm going to take this and I'm going to move that so that way because the spring fits right inside of there. Okay, so now that's all seated. I'm going to take the spring, I'm going to show you this. Oops, hold on a second, that new gasket came out. Oh, okay, leave that. See how this goes together? Right, like that. Alright, so there's that part. This is all good to go. So before I put that in, I'm just going to put that down gently. This is that brand new gasket that goes on first. So I'm going to put that gasket inside here. Oh, the filter is still in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the filter. It's like starting over from scratch here. Take out the filter. Hold on. There we go. Very gently. I don't want to break anything. Okay. Take out the filter. Put that down. Take the new gasket. Put the new gasket in. Make sure the new gasket is seated. There we go. Seated properly. Drop in the new filter. Here's the new filter. New filter goes in. Just push that in gently. Take my new cartridge here that I just rebuilt, and then oh, the spring fell off, but I'm going to make sure that I seat that as I walk it in. And there, that is all working out good. So now, alright, so here's the vise. Put that in. Make sure you're not compromising your threads. I'm not going super tight. And now I'm just going to cinch that up. And I don't know, I'm just kind of going by feel here, not going crazy tight. There was a gasket there, that plastic gasket, and I got a feeling that that is going to be okay. So I'm going to consider that fine. Okay, so now we have put in a new filter, we've put in a new gasket, we put in a new one of these retaining clips, we put in a new one of these cartridges. I still have to figure out what this O-ring is for, and this is the rest of the assembly. Now we want to take this apart and figure out how this whole thing works. Okay, so this size here is 5/8. I have the 5/8 inch socket right there, and hopefully you can see that. And then also the other side is 7/16. So we're going to take this and go lefty-loosey, make sure we're going the correct way. Put that in there. And then we're going to take this one and let's see if we can do this. Oh, hold on a minute. There it is. Okay. So now that we have that loose and coming apart, I'm going to take this thing apart and we're going to see. Whoa, whoa, whoa! There's some parts in here. And look at that. There's that O-ring right there. Let me put this down. Okay, these are the parts that we've already rebuilt on the other side of this wrench right here. We just took apart this section here. These are the old components in this line. These are the new components with this new O-ring right there, which goes to replace that O-ring that's right there. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take a flat bladed screwdriver, lift that O-ring up there. I'm going to put the old O-ring on that side. That's the new O-ring. Now we want to take the new O-ring and we want to put it on. It goes on this side. Try to get it so that the seating surface is as clean as possible. Okay, so now we've put the new O-ring on this component. We're going to turn that around because there's a spring that mates exactly inside there, and that goes inside of this section of the regulator. I'm just going to turn that upside down and leave that there for right now. Now we're going to put this together. So we're going to take the retaining nut at the back end of the regulator, take the new washer here, put that on, trying to keep the surfaces clean. Just wiping that down with my finger to get it clean. Then I'm going to take this washer, which has a lip to it. I'm going to take the lip and face the lip away from the rubber gasket, so the smooth edge of this washer is going to be touching the rubber gasket. Okay, I'm going to try to center the gasket. I'm going to take this new washer as well, which has a smooth section and it has a raised lip on it. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put that there in the center, but the raised lip is facing away from the gasket. Then I'm going to take this assembly here and I'm going to put that in and screw that on. This can go on last because that really doesn't matter. This is the new one here. That's the old one. All right. So I'm going to take this, screw that on there, and then take our 7/16 inch wrench. We're going to tighten that up. Oops. Okay, hang on, put that back in. Get that over there. That's it. It feels like it's not going to go any tighter than that. Okay, that's it. There's a depression here on the Victor regulator, on the oxygen regulator, in which this rubber gasket seats itself. I'm going to put that on. Then I'm going to take this washer, put that around the outside. Looks like it just sits in there like so. Then there's a spring here. Put that spring on. Then this cap here. I'll put the cap on gently. And I'm going to tighten that up. Okay. Okay, now I'm just going to cinch this up in the vise. Right about there. I don't want to go too crazy, okay? I got some pretty decent tension on there, but I'm not going absolutely nuts. I'm going to try to put on the spring tension adjustment, see if I can feel spring tension. And yeah, I can. It actually feels pretty smooth. Okay, I'm going to back that off so that there's no pressure on the spring, so it'll start off with a low pressure on the regulator. Last thing I want to do is I want to put in this fitting right there. Alright, so I have a little bit of PT pipe thread sealant, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in, PTFE enriched. Okay, so I'm just going to take a small amount. This is the section that needs to be sealed, and I'm just going to take a small amount, and I mean very small. So I'm just going to put it on one section, not the whole thing. So when I curl that around, a lot of that sealant will just get intermixed in there. Okay, so that's it. Let's put that in. Put that back there. Make sure the seating surface is as clean as possible this way. Okay, so I'm just going to put that in. Oops. Hand tight, and then I'll take a 7/16 inch wrench and then cinch that up. Okay, that's in there really good, and then there is that. Hopefully that will be fine. I'll just wipe that off with a cloth. Okay, now we'll go ahead and put our oxygen regulator on the oxygen tank. Okay, it's on there good and tight. And then the next thing I need to do is I need to put the hose back on its connection here. Okay. Alright, now's the moment of truth. I'm going to put some safety glasses on just in case I did something wrong. My regulator is loose. I'm going to go ahead and open this tank up slowly. Okay, and now you'll see that the tank pressure is, well, looks like it's just under 1,000, so let's just say it's 900. I'm going to go ahead and bring up my spring tension on the regulator. Oh no, still leaking. Something's leaking. Oh, I have the, I had this opened up here. So that's all that was leaking. Does not appear that anything is leaking with some pressure on the regulator. I got, let's see here, bring it up to 20 pounds. And there we go. And all quiet here. Absolutely nothing. So let me see if I can do a soap bubble test. So I have some brush on blue. There's 20 pounds on the system right now. I'm just going to take and get my brush on blue, make sure it's not too sopping here. And I'm just going to go ahead and check my fittings that I just put on here. So like that fitting right there, that was for the oxygen hose. Everything looks good there. And there's a fitting that goes from this cap to this body of the regulator. I'm just going to put a little bit of soap solution on that just to see if I can see anything. And everything looks good. Even on the handle right here, everything looks fine. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some acetylene on. Make sure my acetylene is off. There's a little Okay, so right where this handle is, I'm gonna go ahead and take my quick wrench here and put that on lefty-loosey and put that on there. And we'll go ahead and open that up just a little bit. Not too much, but I'm sure I got plenty of pressure on the regulator right now, and we'll show you that. All right, so there's about 800 pounds on the acetylene right there. I'm gonna bring up the regulator, and that just brought that up to about 5 pounds. So let's just put on a little bit of acetylene here. And let me go ahead and put a tip on there. And now that I got this opened, I know that, let me put a little more pressure there. Okay, so now we know that we've got no debris inside of here. All right, so now let's just go ahead and put this rosebud tip on. All right, so on the oxygen, I'm going to set it to a flowing 20. So I got that flowing, and I'm going to go flowing 15. So there's about 15 psi right there. So I'm going to shut that off. Now we're going to do a flowing on the acetylene. What we're going to do is a flowing 7. So I'm going to do flowing, bring that up, and there's about 7 psi right there. So we should definitely be able to light this tip off. Let me get some distance between my tip and my rig to make sure that everything goes well. Okay, so I got the rig way over there away from me. I got my striker right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and get some acetylene and get this thing going. Okay, we got acetylene, get a little bit of oxygen in there, and we have a nice flame. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that I could, strike off with my oxyacetylene torch, and that the regulator and everything was feeding the gas properly. And I do not see an issue. Everything seemed just fine. The rebuild was a success. So what I did was I took the parts that came out of the kit, the old parts that came out of the original regulator, and I just put them back inside of this kit. And then I just labeled this that it was the old kit there, so I can keep the part number. And I just wrote down rebuilt, and then today's the month, December 2022. So this way, if I need to, it'll be easier for me to reorder this part. Okay, that is going to conclude this video. I hope you got some great information out of this video. You would do me a solid if you would smash that like button down for me right now. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to my channel, Ken Training, and I will catch you on the flip side.